Hello, Louise? Is George there? Yep. Please, it's Tom. Thanks, yeah. George? George, it's Tom. Do you remember what we were talking about? The book we were looking for, eh? Now listen to me, George. I think we've got it. It's right in my hand here. It's called Mrs. May, A Psychosexual Odyssey by a fellow called David Pick. No, I've never heard of him either. Who cares about that? It's a great book, though. We're going to hear of him. Now listen, it's about a school teacher who makes it her mission in life to redeem a very, very unpleasant young thug. Yeah, and this young thug was once a darling little boy in her class years before. Well, he's not a darling anymore, huh? He certainly is not. Whiz grabbed a wine bottle from the table. I said no police! His arm swept across the table, sending several bottles crashing to the tiled floor. No police! He screamed again, and brought the bottle down on the tabletop with a ferocity that seemed beyond his strength. As the bottle shattered, arms went up to protect faces, and the whole room seemed to gasp. Ginny pushed her way through the crowd. Put the bottle down, Whiz, she said, extending both her hands, palms out as she approached him. Whiz raised the broken bottle to his face, peering at it through the swellings that hid his eyes. The tick in his neck and the twitches of his head gave the impression that he was astonished, as though the jagged glass in his hand had appeared by magic. Ginny, be careful, Simon warned. Put it down, Whiz. There's a good boy, Ginny said, using her calm classroom voice. There are two psychological strands interwoven. Yeah, the first one, of course, concerns the twisted psychology of this boy. But the second strand, really, it's glorious, glorious stuff. It concerns, actually, Mrs. May's trip down the labyrinth of her own psyche. She eased the door open a little further and looked inside. He was standing in front of the window, oblivious to her presence as far as she could tell. One hand was resting on the window catch above his head, and the graceful arc of his arm was highlighted by the early morning sun, caught lemon yellow in the halo of his unkempt hair. He could have been one of those classical statues of androgynous youth. The slender back, the sinuous curve of the spine, the shadowy cleft in the buttocks. Like a torso in a museum, the figure was truncated below the waist, but not by the sculptor's chisel. Her Greek god had a studded belt slung low below his hips, and baggy blue jeans that barely defied gravity. You will love it, man. Love it, you will. Well, I love it, you'll love it. What do you mean? You said you relied on me for my good taste, yeah. David Pick wrote it, yeah, David Pick. Well, Google him up then. Read Mrs. May, a Yellow Bay book for Amazon and available as an e-book or paperback.